look gorgeous. Okay, here we are. We're live on Facebook. We're here, the good of the whole connection field, the dance of souls, the trust frequency embodied, and the dance of souls. And we're here with Wowza Alyssa Lodge, who is part of our course. And she has an amazing program called Wowza Size. And she brings so much embodiment to our process of dancing with our souls. And Heather Fraze is here, and we're glad to have her, and hopefully other people will join us, or I know there are people on Facebook Live. So, and this is Andrew Cameron Bailey.
I just dropped in through the ceiling about 10 minutes ago. I thought I'd, Mars, I'm just checking it out for this new Elon Musk thing.
So what we're going to have a conversation about today is the inside job of what we're here to do, the job we came here to do, which is coming to love ourselves, all of ourselves, not just the parts that we thought we should show up as, to be loved, to be successful, and all that good stuff, all of ourselves. So this inside job is what it's all about. Hi, Oriana, welcome.
Oh, there you are. You're underwater today. Wow,
Yes.
this is amazing.
So we have a dolphin whale person with us this time. Last time, what, she was the water. Now she's more water than ever.
Doing the elements.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a meditation that Andrew has done for our course. And this meditation is on consciousness.
Of all things.
Of all things. And because consciousness is what drives our reality. And consciousness is all that is. There's two aspects of consciousness. So you want to just talk about that for a second?
Only two?
No, but the big all-encompassing
kinds of consciousness.
Yeah, two kinds of consciousness.
Universal consciousness, which is actually the consciousness that is the universe. And then as we individuate it into all these separate beings, apparently separate beings, we as conscious beings experience aspects of the mega phenomenon of consciousness in our everyday lives. And that's really what this Monday night course is all about. Consciousness, how it works, how to break it down, how to understand it, how to practice it, how to elevate it, how to become conscious beings in the highest sense of that word, because it is an evolutionary act to become conscious.
And conscious relationships is truly what this Dance of Souls piece is about. Because once we become what Andrew once called consciously neurotic, which I had heard decades ago, and I love that expression, because if we can just get it on the table and it's there with no shame, no blame. Yep, this is what I'm working on. Thank you very much for all you're showing me, etc. Then we're getting somewhere.
Yeah,
but that takes some doing.
I just love all my multiple personalities. We're all cool.
So we have what we call the 7 aspects of consciousness that create our vibratory level and thereby our frequency and our reality. And I'm going to say those in one sentence, and we will deal with those aspects with our meditations in the upcoming weeks. Mm-hmm. Each one will do a meditation on one aspect, but this week the meditation is going to be on consciousness itself. But let me just tell you the 7 aspects of consciousness in one sentence, and that is: with expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams.
And hey, 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 they
Hey.
all begin with A.
They all begin with A. So there's a lot more of them, like acceptance, like there's lots of other A words that contribute to our vibration, but those are the ones we
call
come
them,
up with.
we actually call them the 7 A's. Yeah.
So I'm going to share screen and we're going to go through this meditation. It's kind of informative and also meditative. So let's
How long is it?
10 minutes.
Oh, good.
Is it? Did you time it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what do I do?
I would say that it's in a way, it's a shamanic journey. Each of these meditations is a journey. We go to a place. Who is that guy?
Who is that guy?
Oh.
Okay, here I gotta get started at the beginning.
So
okay,
good.
here we go.
Here we go.
The 7 A's of consciousness. Consciousness, a noun, the fact of awareness by the mind of itself and the world. On the superficial level addressed by this dictionary definition, consciousness is defined as merely, quote unquote, the fact of awareness of the mind. Clearly, however, consciousness is more than a mere fact. There is a vast spectrum of states of human consciousness, ranging from total anesthesia to deep sleep, to the various levels of awakeness, all the way up to the highest levels of superconscious enlightenment. There are levels of consciousness far beyond that encompassed by the human mind. Consciousness is, in fact, the primordial manifestation of the energy of the universe. It is literally beyond human comprehension. Consciousness. What is consciousness? The answer to that question is very, very interesting. The answer in a nutshell is this: consciousness is everything. Consciousness was here before the Big Bang. Consciousness will be here once this entire universe has passed on, when and if it ever does that. So what is consciousness? Why have humans had such a difficult time defining it, understanding it, studying it? Let's think about it. Consciousness. Science cannot answer the question, what is consciousness? They would refer you to the psychologists or the religious people that say, go talk to the church. That's their domain. Well, let's think about it this way. Consciousness is all we as human beings experience. From the moment I am born, I come to consciousness. Till the moment I die, when I apparently leave, certainly consciousness as it pertains to this body. And everywhere in between, if I'm sleeping and dreaming, something's going on, consciousness-wise. If I'm awake, I could be in any of a wide variety of states of consciousness. So to introduce the subject here, the fact is that we humans experience consciousness with every heartbeat, with every breath we take. So what do we experience? Let's see if we can break it down. Well, if you go to the dictionary definition, it says consciousness is awareness. Simply that, awareness, the fact of awareness of the world and our existence in that world. Fine, that's true. But it's much deeper and broader than that. It's much more varied than that. So we actually ended up asking that question, what is consciousness? And realizing that there are 7 attributes or aspects of consciousness which each of us experiences every day in one form or another. So that's what this meditation is about. We're going to go to the first of those words or those aspects, and interestingly, they each begin with the letter A. The first one is awareness. So firstly, we're going to sit here quietly and see what that means. Consciousness, awareness. I am aware. That is such a huge statement. You could say, I'm aware that it's a cold day out there. Or you could say, I'm aware that there's a fire burning in Australia because I saw it on the television. Or I could say that I'm aware that we live in a vast universe. And all of these statements are true. So let's go inside and see at this moment what that means for you. What does it mean that you are aware? Are you aware of any sounds? Are you aware of your breathing? Can you hear your heartbeat? Because all of our senses send us messages. We talk about sensory awareness. So with the 5 senses, we experience aspects of the awareness of our existence. And they say there's a 6th sense where we can be aware of things that are not present, that are not visible, that are not measurable. So is it not an extraordinary existence, this phenomenon of being human? Is it not absolutely amazing when we stop and slow down and breathe and think about it and focus on one thing? So we're focusing on awareness, and we can expand that awareness from the center of our heart, which is maybe a good place to start, or the point between our eyes, the 6th chakra. We can focus our awareness, and then we can allow that to soften and relax and diffuse and defocus. And we simply expand and expand and expand. And we are aware that we're perhaps sitting on a chair with our spine erect. We're aware perhaps of some discomfort. We're aware of a sound outside, some birds in the trees, or traffic, or an airplane flying overhead. All of these elements of awareness. Let us expand beyond that. Let us go way beyond that. Let us expand until we are as large as the planet that we are living on. Let us expand into the atmosphere of planet Earth and realize that planet Earth is a living entity with this beautiful, delicate atmosphere surrounding it. And beyond that, the darkness, apparent emptiness of space. And let us just be here, knowing that this is a beautiful, beautiful situation we are in. No matter what's going on back there in the so-called reality of our daily lives, at any time we can expand and be as large as our planet and encapsulate all life, all consciousness on this planet. And of course, we can expand still further. We can expand until we're the size of the Milky Way, and we can expand until we're the size of the entire universe. And we can expand beyond that if there is any such thing, because now we are beyond space. We've gone beyond time. What does it mean to be in a place of permanence? The real situation that existed before the Big Bang. Let us sit here for a moment knowing that this is real, this is permanent. We can come back to this at any time. And when you're ready, come back into your body. Come back into the room. Open your eyes. Look around. And realize what a beautiful world this is. And this calmness and this peace that you are now experiencing. Take this with you as you go forward into your day. Thank you.
Ah, beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh dear. There's
The bees. See the 7 A's and the 7,000 bees. There we go.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh,
Oh, thanks,
yeah.
Ross.
that's beautiful. And the blue swirling and just your countenance is just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, the inside job. How does everybody feel from the inside out into the universe? Getting a feeling for our beauty and the love we are. How do you feel? How was that? Anybody
Well,
have
for me personally, good. It was as if the substance of the inside merged with the same substance of the outside. It was almost like a seamless experience where I had very little sensation of any border. It was just this gorgeous sense of spacious sensation that went way through the pores, pores, and it felt, yeah, it could have gone on forever. I loved it.
Wow.
And we did
Lucky you.
go on forever, and we returned immediately because there is actually no time.
Lucky you that you can
It's
do that.
all here and now. Yeah.
You know, I have a friend who I just was with who had almost died, and she said she got there that way
Oh.
into the conscious, loving, abundant nature of the universe because she's very familiar with our work, and because I know it through my intellect, but I don't experience it. I haven't experienced that oneness. The near-death experience people
Yeah.
regularly do, and you obviously have that ability through the meditative, suggestive state. So lucky you.
That infinite breathing source and the humming source and the sounding source definitely helps.
And that is a very truncated version of that meditation, because in fact, when we do it and really it takes about 20 minutes rather than 10. So we had to keep it down. But it just allows us to dwell in each of these infinite places we find ourselves, these stops along the way. Oh, we can stop along the way. We can sit on the surface of the moon and see what kind of perspective we get from there. And then we can move out to the solar system and then,
Right.
as opposed to just racing straight to like before the Big Bang.
Whoop. Well,
But that really struck me today, Andrew, when I heard you say that consciousness exists before the Big Bang, because I guess I never gave it much thought, but just that our consciousness is so much more powerful than anything that's been created, and that we are the creators at the same time. It's just like, yes, it's before the Big Bang. And I heard you saying earlier to your friend, and I've said this about my own lifetime. I've had quite a few near-death experiences, and I've said out loud to another person, it doesn't matter if you kill me, because I will just reincarnate and do this all over again, and I will find you.
There you go.
So,
It's
I don't
called
care.
Dance of Souls. Yeah.
So,
Reincarnate, you know?
Pretty.
and
And
listen,
it,
I love you and I lose you. I recently lost to breast cancer my first sweetheart from long ago, but we stayed in touch all through our lives. And she's gone. Guess what? She's not gone. Nobody's gone. There is no gone. It's a sort of a hologram, sort of an illusion, but sort of a beautiful play acting as the universe experiences itself in all its incredible splendors, one of which is you and you and you and you on the screen right here. And some of which are those who we've lost. We've lost, whatever that means. They're not here right now, but go inside and check if they're still around. They're alive in our hearts. And that is our consciousness. So if my beloved is alive in my consciousness, is she alive? I think so. And whether there'll ever be another form in the body, I don't know that at this point. I'm so glad that there are mysteries like that. Things that there's so much, Connie thinks I know a lot. And I know such a tiny speck of what reality is. And Einstein knew such a tiny speck of what reality is, because reality is so incomprehensibly vast. And what a treat that is.
Yeah, and I asked the universe, if there's a plan, is there a planner? And the universe came back and said to me, no, it's the consciousness of unconditional love coming to understand itself. And Greg Braden just the other night was just saying the same thing. So this is what we're all coming to understand, that we are what Andrew calls roving sensory organs of the divine. Everything that we go through has a purpose. The relationships, the experiences, everything has a purpose for this evolutionary upward spiral of consciousness. And that's what this course is about. That's what this particular talk is about, conversation is about our individual journey and becoming conscious of it, and conscious of the love that is all things, that everything in our life happens for us, not to us, which is sometimes hard to grok and hard to take in and hard to accept. But until we do, we're still on that victim perpetrator treadmill of lower consciousness. And what spirit wants now and what the earth is calling us to is higher our love for ourselves and the universe, and to understand how loved we are.
So it's an inside job, but there is no outside. There is no inside. When we actually get to reality, it's, Rousey, you used the word seamless. It's just a seamless continuum of extraordinary possibility, manifesting in whatever we put our attention. Remember that attention. Whatever we put our attention on is what appears in front of us. Wow, so we'll go a week or two down the road and we'll really explore what it means to put our attention on something, to be attentive.
Yeah, well, that's
That
the
makes sense?
physics of the observer effect. that we create our reality by what we put our attention on, these 7 A's, but it's what we put our attention on. We bring from the wave to the particle. Hey, Oriana, you know a little about that. And look, you sitting there so quietly with the heart in your face. The face is the same color as the heart behind you. So you're this
my lunar heart, yes.
double-hearted entity here, coming from space, the love of the universe. So
yeah, I was thinking a couple things came to mind, one of which is the continuity of consciousness, as Mark Gaffney calls it, and talks about Barbara Marx Hubbard as if, you know, he has conversations with her, as I have had appearances and talks with her as well, and the continuity of consciousness.
okay, lucky you.
Yeah, but also I had a couple comments on one of which was I have much the same experience as Wowza, which is that there's no separation of that inside journey is the whole universe, and the whole universe inside of a proton, like it just inside out, outside in. And so at the very end of your meditation, you actually said, okay, now come back to your body. And I remember that just was like, what? Come back? What do you mean come back? Where do you think I've been? and I'm perplexed at that idea of coming back as if you have to leave your body in order to experience everything that you were speaking to.
I know I really rushed that last part, and I felt I was actually, is the word embarrassed, to actually say, okay, guys, back in your bodies.
But see, that's the point. I wasn't out of my body. I don't think Wowza was either.
Right.
So there doesn't have to be that differential.
The big body, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in the big body.
Right. In the long version, we then allow ourselves to gently come back and back and back and back, and we revisit all those stops along the way until we open our eyes and go, oh, there's my body. I'm sitting in my room.
Right. And I think that was the perception that you had to leave your body to get there. And now with this knowledge of science, well, but people who go there can go there, but for the mind, now the science is that what you're saying, Oriana, with the universe in the proton, you know, the fractal nature of it all, that we are the universe. So it's about expanding that, which I think is what's up. I mean, we're obviously in a huge transition, right? Right now. I mean, the pandemic has put us in a place to let go of old ways and think about our life, our mortality, our immortality, and just reset. And I think that's we're transmuting. Our bodies are transmuting. In my understanding, you know, it's huge. And so I think that's Mother Earth. You know, the elements. They're gonna start talking to us, and they may talk to you guys. I've been ever since I met the Native American visionary elders, Wallace Black Elk. You know, he says, "Oh, do you hear them singing? The trees?" I'm like, no, I don't hear them singing. So I'm like, tree, would you talk to me, please? It's been like 20 years. So, I mean, some of us can, and so we have different gifts and talents, right? And that's what the whole tapestry is all about, us weaving all our gifts and talents into.
Have you ever heard the singing of the stars? Oriana, you're sitting there in that panoply of stars. Do you know what the Bushmen of the Kalahari do with their newborn babies as soon as they emerge?
No,
Their song, their ethnic song.
There's a certain song, there's a birth
They
song.
sing it in the womb. They sing it in the womb first, over and over.
First night, so if the baby's born in the night, they do it immediately. If it's born at lunchtime, they wait until the night and the stars come out, and they hold that baby up to the stars, and they sing this song, and they claim to hear and I believe them, and we've been there with them, but I haven't personally heard the singing of the stars, but they are attuned to the sound that's emanating from the stars. And the very first thing with a newborn human is to introduce him or her to the stars.
Attuned, you used a word, attuned, you know, so, you know, different
I'm gonna get my
different ones of
water.
us are have a different attunements, right, to different frequencies and different abilities. So, oh, maybe Heather's going to sing us a song. But I think what we want, not right now, but what we hope to come out of this chat we're having is the knowledge that we are one, we are love, we are loved, and that this journey to wholeness, this journey to self-love, that's the perspective of this course and what we're bringing, is that we came here on this specific journey. And we were talking about passing on, well, and reincarnating. Well, it's my understanding that we keep coming back on this journey to heal this one on this life walk, to heal this piece on this life walk, and that piece on that life walk, and that piece on that life walk. Like it's a little whisk broom in our subconscious. Okay, where's that one? Where's that piece? Because it seems like it's forever. Heather, you're in your early 30s. We're in our, Andrew and I are in our mid 70s. Wowza's in her 80s. And I'm not sure, Oriana.
She's in her teens.
She's in her teen. And it seems like it goes on forever. This journey of seeing our shadow, of being triggered, of these repeated behaviors in our lives. But it's just that we've got this big job to do, and that is heal those pieces, bring them into the light. So the loving universe brings circumstance, it brings relationships to us so that we can find out what we think about ourselves. It's our movie, right? So anyway, that's what we just really want to be sure that we go inside and really do that inside work, which is really challenging because our ego is like, no, thank you very much. I've gotten you this far, forget it. And our soul is like, oh, but here comes so-and-so to show me my stuff. So we got to just keep on dancing and keep on going inside and getting those pieces into the light. Do you want to sing us a song, Heather?
Well, actually, yeah, this is another reason I leave my camera off. I pick up and I play background music when I'm listening because it helps me focus on what you're saying if I play music to what you're saying. So that's what I'm up to. I'm just kind of giving accompaniment, but maybe if a song comes up, I'll let you know.
Or you can just play for us. You can
play
keep
gently,
your,
yeah.
play
Leave it open
gently.
and play gently to see what happens.
Yeah.
If you, I don't want it, it'll mess up the microphones and stuff for you guys.
Right,
okay.
no problem.
I don't want it to, yeah.
Oriana,
my own personal background.
Oriana, may I? I'm sorry. To Oriana, it's beautiful that you brought up Barbara Marx Hubbard moments ago, because it's been such a day of Barbara Marx Hubbard in sitting in a place Barbara has sat right here where we are right now, up until very shortly before she decided to go exploring the rest of the galaxy. And she was around very much today, and several.
Ubiquity. Humanity Rising had a big thing with Barbara Marx Hubbard folks carrying on Ole and Puria and Andrea
Harding, who lived here with us at Sunrise Ranch with Barbara 3 years ago now.
Yeah, and she just came to us the other day with a picture of her and Sherwood, who came onto my phone while we were thinking.
It came on mine today too.
Oh.
So my point though is the continuity of consciousness. It's one of the conversations I personally used to have with Barbara. Barbara loved nothing more than a glass of red wine at sunset time, and I was her red wine buddy on multiple occasions. And Barbara, she would never ever want to have chit chat and trivial conversation. And she was just deeply committed to this idea of the continuity of consciousness. She wanted to know, and she was in her mid to late 80s, and she knew that she was going to be leaving, and could we still be in touch after that time? And so many of her friends and students and colleagues have had experiences with her, haven't they? Just so many people have reported that. I mean, I miss her every day. I take a walk, and I'm walking in the very footsteps where she walked, right here. This is where she spent her last
Sunrise
day.
Ranch is where we are.
Yeah.
And this is where she passed here. And
So I just thought it was interesting to sort of bring up, having brought up her name, just honor her a little, Barbara. Thank you.
yeah.
Hanging out with us again.
And what she was all about too was every crisis is a birth.
Mm.
So here we are in some multitude of crises, and just knowing also that our personal crises are a birth. Loss and grief gives birth to something so deep. The deeper we go with grief, the more we are able to birth something that we couldn't access without that gift of that loss. Oriana, did you have something you wanted to say?
I was just feeling into our crisis is a birth, and realizing that this last year, the whole world suddenly turned upside down, right? Like the baby floating in the womb going, hey, I'm good. Things are taken care of, cooking along. Okay, it's getting a little crowded. Okay, yeah, but I can deal with it. And then all of a sudden, whoa, everything goes upside down. Wow, what happened here? And you want me to go where? And you want me to do what? And you can imagine that baby going through the birth canal, like, what up with this? And and that's kind of what it does feel like. Like the whole world has this sense of, okay, and that urgency that Barbara always spoke to as well. That urgency, like something's got to give, and it's going to happen now. And this, so. Yeah, I also feel the sense of being midwifed by the whole universal life force, that continuing consciousness. And I really feel that Barbara made that choice to be on the other side at this time, that her greater purpose can be served. And that I don't know what it is, but I just feel that something greater is unfolding than we can know about. So
Beautiful.
It's my understanding we're bringing something onto the planet that's never been here in the history of the planet. So that's a big job, to release and go through this birth canal into something so unknown that all I know is it's magnificent. We've had some way showers, like Jesus with his miracles and the loaves and the fishes and the healing and all that stuff. These are way showers to show us what's possible.
yeah, and also the sense of that we're being born a universal life force, that we're not an isolated little planet with life just happening upon this little speck of stardust. We're actually part and parcel of the universe that is a heart. We're inside of it. And as we expand our awareness into that beingness, and where does it start? Inside one heart. Where is that? Well, you got two hands, two eyes, two ears, but one heart. It's all it takes. One heart.
An inside job.
Yeah.
An inside job. That's it.
And it's just so important that we do this work, this inner work. I mean, it's the job we came here to do. We have got to do it to be able to access those higher frequencies. So, and it's free will to choose whether we do it or not in this life walk, because we can just not do it and come back another time. Like Heather says, yeah, I'll come back. I'll find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just wait.
Hmm.
So that's just all we want to just bless people on this journey and make it no shame, no blame. It's what we came here to do so that we can bring peace on earth, heaven to earth through our heart alignment, our mind heart coherence. It's the big buzzwords. And
These
global
days.
coherence pulse and
Yeah.
Greg Braden. Yeah, go on the global coherence pulse Facebook page and watch Greg. He spoke on Saturday. Really important stuff.
Ah,
Good stuff.
was that at Saturday Night Alive?
He did Saturday Night Live, and then he did
But
during
during the
the day
day
he did the
on-
global coherence pulse.
Right.
A
Oh.
really in-depth.
And he was lovely on Saturday night
presentation.
as well. Yeah.
So really important scientific stuff about the heart and the brain coherence and breathing and the electrical power of the heart in the universe, etc. So really important stuff.
Okay.
That's what's up, heart, brain coherence. And we feel that
Yeah.
we're bringing something with the trust frequency, our book, The Trust Frequency, to help resolve the paradoxes between love and not love. Because we say, yeah, okay, it's all love and it's all heart. But then we have all these experiences, we have war, we have the horrific stuff that humanity's been doing forever and is still doing. How can that be love? So it's a huge paradox that we want to go there, but we can't quite get there because of all this not love. And what we do with our construct on the nature of the universe, we say, okay, it's all love. We just don't understand the nature of that love that gives us everything we ask for.
Sorry.
And those 7 A's are our requests to this loving universe. We understand, and it's also just physics. Okay, so it loves us so much that if our soul came to die by murder, somebody's going to show up to murder us. I mean, I like to take that extreme,
And that's love.
but then that's love, because that person, and that's loving for that person who's the perpetrator, because their soul obviously, because it's all love and all free will, their soul, that dance is serving their soul. And in our construct, it isn't about karma. It's about love. So that's, until we get to that place beyond duality, beyond good and evil and right and wrong, we're still in a lower frequency. We're still in victim perpetrator. We're still in that old energy. And until we can make that leap, which is a huge leap. What do you all think about that?
I just want to say 4 words: trust the loving universe. And if we can truly do that, truly trust the timing, the word trust, T-R-U-S-T, truly rely upon spirit's timing. That's what that means. And trust the loving universe to the point that no matter what happens in our world, if we know deeply that it's coming from the loving universe and serving us in some way we may not be able to determine right now. I may be diagnosed with something terrible or something like that as an example. And to truly trust that even if something terrible happens, even if we die, where are we? We're back home. And
So,
to
let's see.
know that and to trust that and
Yeah.
to know that this universe consists entirely of love. There actually is nothing else except the illusion of not love.
Right.
So I think it's really important
So
to know that that's actually an illusion, that anything could be not love, because there isn't anything else, is there?
Right.
Don't think
And
so.
the nature of that love, that's the key, is the nature of that love. But what do you guys think? Wow, so we haven't heard much
Wowza,
from
come on,
you. You
sing
have to
us-
jump off pretty soon.
Sing us
Well, while you were talking, I remember this 10-year period where every month or so I'd get a new video show doing the professional acting thing. And I will just remember Dr. Kildare. I got the role of a dying woman, you know, and how excited I was to play a dying woman. I mean, this was a conscious, loving universe. I mean, every role, and I was also thinking, and I hadn't really thought of it like that. It was then, oh, Ben Casey, yeah, and then it was I Dream of Jean. I mean, all of these you don't know, or I remember, you know, a British sergeant, where suddenly I wanted to be more, you know, austere and strong, and so I on Hogan's Heroes, you know, I was a British sergeant. And everyone gave me a whole different color, a whole different expression, a whole different energy. And the excitement each time. Oh my God, I'm going to play a guy on Midnight Cowboy. I mean, you know, it's like, I mean, all I know is it was like every role was a different lifetime. And it was a joy to play, you know, the entire spectrum of roles as a delicious way of seeing all of that we're multidimensional beings. And so this idea that we can, yeah, we have to work at it, but why not play at it?
There you go.
Scene after scene after scene, and the excitement of playing a new role, or no matter, or these horrendous things sometimes that we see. Oh God! All of a sudden, the creative, mind comes in, saying, "Oh, how now this is something I could get my teeth into." See, this is something that would be really exciting to begin to see how to maneuver through this chaos. But and that was what you did as an actor. So my work really is the sacred actor. That's my new book. And that we are everything, we are nothing. There is nothing we are not. There is no one we are not. So we can play, you name it. And that has just served me to no end. And it's definitely the secret of my ageless vitality.
Yeah, what a treat that you can just go into those different characters and become all of that. That's unique.
Stick out your chin a little bit, Bonnie. Just stick out your chin. Just stick out your chin and talk a little bit. Yeah, just talk. Talk, you know? All of a sudden, I mean, you will feel different. Like,
now, I was a Shakespearean actress and a theater major in college. I don't remember having as much fun as Wowza does, though. But I do remember that Shakespeare wrote, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their entrances and their exits."
And one man plays many parts.
Many parts. They live their life in stages. Indeed, indeed. So I'm getting revived in my theater experience, because I did that up until I had cancer at 19, and that sort of put an end to my theater days.
Whoa.
No.
Yeah, so life kind of took on a whole different. But that's when I went into science. See, that's when I got my degree in biochemistry. I figured I better find the cure for cancer, because science wasn't going to do it. And I found it inside. It's an inside job.
This is the other beauty, though, that it is what you were saying, and it's out of these glitches, out of these extraordinary, we hit the wall, and it's exactly the energy that then propels us to go into directions we would never go if we had the silver spoon at birth and everything just flowed in one certain kind of way. Some of us are multidimensional, and so we require, these kinds of glitches that take us into definite different directions we would never go into. And so that brings me back to Krishnamurti, that had such a profound effect on me, this idea of choiceless awareness. That in this kind of flow, everything that just appears is what is being called on to move with. And maybe there's less and less deliberation of how to, and more to the being. But I found that fascinating because I've always thought, choice, to have the choice. And yet I just remember, there was this, again, seamless movement where of being somehow internally guided and directed in all these different ways.
And the loving universe showing up. I think, I'm hearing Krishnamurti that the loving universe is showing up. It feels choiceless and it feels like circumstance. But what we say is circumstance loves us more than we do, because we gave permission to the loving universe to take us on this journey. And the loving universe, which is all energy and love, manifests itself in our lives for this journey. Mm-hmm. And I got that through the Native Americans, who say that when you have a problem or something, an animal will come into your path. Well, right. What I had an experience, and I'm like, okay, how did that animal get there? If everything's energy and everything's love. And actually my daughter gave me the clue, because we were hiking one time and she said, and this rabbit came into a path in front of us. She stopped and she said, Mom, that's a holographic rabbit. She could see that it wasn't a real rabbit.
She saw a rabbit.
And so that's when I got it, that the animals that can show up in our lives, because the universe can organize itself into anything it wants. It's conscious, it's alive. Universe. And so it can bring that rabbit, it can bring a deer, it can bring that snake, whatever it is we need to see those pieces we're looking for and teach us things. And so that's the magical world I live in. And I figured out that it's all love.
I say goodbye.
Oh, you gotta go. Way. Okay.
Bye, Wowza. We love you. Be well.
Say hi to China.
Give our love to China.
She's off to China?
Yeah.
She's off to China.
On Zoom.
On Zoom.
Oh.
She teaches at the turn of the hour, which is in about 7 minutes, in China.
In China. Yeah, she's been working in China for decades.
Well, I knew she had been there many times, but
yeah.
Well, good for her. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was walking around the lake that's across the street from us. And this one day, I've never had this happen before nor since, but I'm walking along and this bird hit me in the back of the head. And I mean, almost took me off my feet. It hit so hard. I was like, and I went, what was I just thinking? I'm not sure I came to any definitive, big aha moments, as much as that it was just it had to be deliberate. There was just, I've never had a bird run into me before.
Might have been a mama bird.
I have no idea.
And your Cancer, do you see the gifts that brought you? Or where are you at with that?
Yeah, well, it was, they didn't think that it was cancer when they did the surgery. They thought it was a benign tumor attached to my right ovary. And so I woke up with missing parts, like a lot of them, like all of them. And so the not being able to have children, like I was so... like what? I didn't even, I did have a near-death experience where I didn't want to go back. And this light being who I thought of as Jesus, whether it was or not, I'm not going to make a comment on, but he said, no one's going to blame you if you go. But are you really sure you've done what you came to do?
Oh,
And
man.
I remember the feeling of, oh, shit. I gotta go back. You know, there wasn't any question I'd have to go back, but I wasn't real happy about it.
I've
Oh,
heard
So-
that from
many
people.
times, many
Yeah.
times.
It's like,
Most people would.
but yeah, but what I decided was that the next time I reached that point where I was just about to cross the line, that was I'm just headed for the light. I'm just right there. That next time I'm going to go, I did it. Yes,
Yay.
I did it. And I didn't let anything stop me. I just did it. And I
Oh,
have never actually known what it was that I did. But I let that feeling guide me. Like, what is that? Yeah. Yes.
oh,
And,
beautiful.
and so I think it's really called me forth. And then I also wanted to know, how did God make ovaries?
So that sent you.
Which came first, the ovary or the god?
Yeah, like that. Like, how would God make woman? And the idea he pulled the rib out of Adam and made a woman just didn't cut it with me. There's not enough science in that one for me. And so I wanted to know, like, really, what would it be to actually form that level of organization of consciousness that continued on? And what I looked for was, where is the heartbeat located, such that the embryo knows how to make a heartbeat? But how do you make a heartbeat for generations?
Wow, girl.
Yeah.
So you got something from that experience.
Time.
So this has been my exploration ever since, and going into biochemistry to
And the world,
discover what they knew.
the world that you, whoever you've shared it with, and however you share it through your dance, through your knowledge, through being you. So you can get there. When you get there, you can say, yep, yep, yep. I did it." And you sparked quite a conversation on resonance science Q&A
Oh, yeah.
with the
Did you know my response to him though? Oriana, did we answer your question? Yes, I am now totally clear why I'm so confused. Yes, like the question I asked was, can you concisely speak to the confusion around the Copenhagen interpretation, right? 20 minutes later. Now I know why I was so confused. I'm totally clear.
They were a little unconfused themselves at the time.
That's what I thought. They were all over the
It was
board.
confusing. It was so confusing trying to figure out something on that level.
And what is it? What was it exactly? Just for our people who are, we're still on live on Facebook. What's the Copenhagen question?
Well, the Copenhagen interpretation, as my understanding, comes back to the quantum mechanics world that doesn't agree with the macro world, the scientific agreement. But somehow it came back to the double slit experiment of what they were looking at, and the Copenhagen interpretation was from this gathering in Copenhagen where the scientists all got together and agreed that this is how we'd interpret the data, and that's how quantum mechanics came into being, is my understanding. But not all the scientists still agree with the Copenhagen interpretation. And that's as concise as I can be, because it gets even murkier after that. And you've been a delegate with Resonance Academy as long as I have, haven't you, Connie? About 4 years or so?
Oh, no, we've just been for a year or so, and Andrew is way more knowledgeable.
And we've done a lot of ions over the decades.
Yeah, ions we've been associated with, and just recently with resonance science. But we've known Marshall and Jamie and those folks, because it's a frequency thing, you know. We're here, we are, and it's been decades that we're all interconnecting. So it's so exciting. And let's just jump off of Facebook Live now. We've got the guys coming on.
Any guys?
This has been a treat. There's David
Powell.
Powell. So I'll
Yeah.
jump off of Facebook Live. It was great being with you folks out there in
All
Facebook.
right. Well, it's wonderful being with you all again.
Remember, it's an inside job.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
inside